Hi guys, Cinza here, and welcome to another Shadowlands Alpha video. This time we're going to take a first look at the Retribution Paladins in Shadowlands. So Retribution Paladins are pretty nice now, as you'll see coming up in the skill and talent section. There's been a lot of things made baseline, and it still has that nice, just holy warrior feel. And the extra baseline utility things that they get are pretty nice, and it gives them a little bit more survivability and some more interesting talent changes. This is another class I just really like the monk and the death knight and shaman. I don't know yet how I would rate it, because I would like to see, we haven't been able to see like Torghast and the rest of the covenant abilities and things like that, but I think if you liked Retribution Paladin in the past couple expansions, then you'll like it in this expansion. But let's go ahead and go to the changes now. So Paladins, particularly Retribution Paladins, had a lot of changes with baseline abilities and unpruning and talent changes. I'm going to go over all that now. So first of all, there's auras back, like auras that you actually select. So Devotion Aura will give you, reduced damage. But also the old passives that Retribution had with Crusader and Retribution are now auras that you have to select. And so Crusader Aura was just a straight passive that increased your movement speed. It was just Crusader. I forgot the actual name of it, but it just increased your movement speed. Now Retribution Aura replaces the old Retribution passive, and it's a little bit different. In Shadowlands, it just, whenever a party member dies within 40 yards, you gain Avenging Wrath for 8 seconds. The old passive increased your damage done and reduced the damage taken whenever a party member dies. So that's a little bit different. And you have to, of course, select them. So if you don't like putting the different auras on, then this may be bad. But if you liked having the auras and having to swap them, then they're back now. As for the abilities, Retribution Paladins, or just Paladins in general, get Consecration, baseline, Hammer of Wrath, baseline, Word of Glory, baseline, Consecration. I said Consecration. Consecration, Wake of Ashes, Word of Glory, Hammer of Wrath for Retribution Paladins. Those are baseline. Now, they also get Turn Evil, which is basically another CC, disorients undead, aberrations, and demons for 40 seconds. And then as they level, they'll get Concentration Aura, so it just reduces the it makes interrupt and silence effects shorter. So that's kind of nice. And then they also get this flavor Sense Undead back. It doesn't do anything, practically. It's just it'll show the location of all nearby undead enemies on the map. So kind of cool that that's coming back. And again, as you level, Retribution Aura, it just increases the duration. And then Hammer of Wrath. So the way Hammer of Wrath, well, I'll go over that in the talent, but basically it'll once you get to 58, it'll make Hammer of Wrath work just like it works in the in BFA. So yeah, I believe those are all the changes. The stuff being made baseline and the talents are the biggest change for Paladins. So again, all that stuff is baseline, and you'll see in the talents now just how big that is. So since Wake of Ashes and Hammer of Wrath and Consecration and Word of Glory were made baseline, that's 4 talents right there that are, they're gone. So they've been replaced. The first row is the same: Zeal, Righteous Verdict, Execution Sentence. Now the second row is a little bit different. Fire of Justice and Blade of Wrath are still there, but now Empyrean Power has replaced, I believe that was Hammer of Wrath. Yeah. So Empyrean Power is a artifact, or not an artifact, an Azerite trait in BFA that makes your Crusader trait have a chance to make your Divine Storm free and cause additional damage. So now that's a talent that you can pick. So good for AoE, and if you want to still go with like single target, then Blade of Wrath or Fires of Justice. This row, these talents are the same. They also kind of shifted the rows. So these these two rows here are like utility, and they're the same. But this row was actually here. But yeah, the next few rows are where most of the changes occur. This row is almost entirely different. Divine Purpose used to be in the final talent row, so now it's still the same. It causes you to make your next your holy power abilities have a chance to make your next holy power ability free and deal increased damage or healing. That's the same, but now it's in this row. Now, because Wake of Ashes and Consecration were made baseline, they've been replaced with Holy Avenger, a new cooldown that increases your or triples your holy power generation for 20 seconds, and then Seraphim, which was a Ret Pally talent. Now Retribution Paladin can pick that another cooldown, 45-second for 3 holy power, and it grants you um, all of the secondary stats for 15 seconds. So this could be pretty strong, especially for DPS. I personally really like using Divine Purpose. It's just nice getting that. And because before Divine Purpose was on the same line as, I believe, yeah, that was on the last line. So it shared it with Crusade and Inquisition, and you almost always picked Inquisition. So it's nice to be able to have that in a different row as a possible choice. This row, Selfish Healer and Justicar's Vengeance is the same, but now they have, because no Word of Glory, because Word of Glory is baseline, they have Healing Hands. So it's all it is whenever you use Lay of Hands on an ally at less than 30% health, then it'll reduce the cooldown. So it does not work when you use it on yourself, but if you use it on an ally, then that's kind of nice because it's normally a 10-minute cooldown. So, reduced by 50% is kind of a big deal. And now the last row. Inquisition and Crusade are the same, but now they get Sanctified Wrath because they moved Divine Purpose up. And Sanctified Wrath is another Azerite trait. It was Light's Decree in BFA. So it makes your Avenging Wrath last longer, and during Avenging Wrath, whenever you spend Holy Power, then it causes you to explode for damage. So, yeah, quite a few changes to the talents, and yeah, there's a lot of the baseline stuff. A lot of the stuff are the same, a lot of the blessings and the shields, but having like 4 previous talents made baseline, that's pretty big, especially because Wake of Ashes was the artifact trait. So now, like the Unholy Death Knights, they have their artifact trait baseline. And Hammer of Wrath was an ability that I've always loved, and I'm sure many Retribution Paladins have always loved. So having those 2 abilities baseline, just that alone is pretty big. And then now, you get Consecration, so, that's an extra AoE. You might as well use it, and it doesn't cost anything. It's just on a 12-second cooldown. And then Word of Glory, whenever you need a little bit of extra healing, that's pretty nice, even though it does cost holy power. So having those 4 abilities baseline now, it's pretty big because it gives you just more, and then also it frees up talent rows, especially because some of those just really great talents. Because like for AoE, Empyrean Power and Light's Decree, which is now Sanctified Wrath, were great AoE Azerite traits. So it's good to have those back. And then having these new cooldowns is, can definitely be pretty nice. Especially if Paladins work, Retribution Paladin's stat priority is similar to BFA, where it's like, it's not, pretty much all the stats are equal. So being able to get all of them is, that's a pretty powerful, 45-second cooldown. So I can definitely anticipate Seraphim being pretty good. It does add more, so it will be a lot of maintenance if you end up using like Seraphim and Inquisition, because you're gonna, and they also use Holy Power, so you're gonna always want Inquisition up, Seraphim on cooldown. But it is still nice to be able to have that. A lot of utility, a lot of things. If you want stuff to do for Retribution Paladin, there's plenty of it there. So anyway, that's all for the changes to Retribution Paladin and the baseline abilities, unpruning talents, and just a look on how Retribution Paladins are right now. I really like them. I definitely can't wait to see when they finally get added to Torghast and be able to see more of the potential for legendaries, and when all the Covenant things are added. If you liked the video, please give a like, subscribe for future videos, and as always, thanks for watching.